আমরা সকল বিষয় বিবেচনা করে সিদ্ধান্ত নিয়েছি যে আগামী জাতীয় সংসদ নির্বাচনের দিনেই গণভোটের আয়োজন করা হবে। অর্থাৎ জাতীয় নির্বাচনের মতো গণভোটও ফেব্রুয়ারির প্রথমার্ধে একই দিনে অনুষ্ঠিত হবে। এতে সংস্কারের লক্ষ্য কোনোভাবে বাধাগ্রস্ত হবে না। নির্বাচন আরও উৎসবমুখর ও সাশ্রয়ী হবে। গণভোট অনুষ্ঠানের লক্ষ্যে উপযুক্ত সময়ে প্রয়োজনীয় আইন প্রণয়ন করা হবে। আমাদের সরকারের উপর ন্যস্ত দায়িত্ব ছিল মূলত তিনটি: হত্যাকাণ্ডের বিচার করা, একটি জবাবদিহিমূলক ও কার্যকর গণতান্ত্রিক ব্যবস্থায় উত্তরণের জন্য প্রয়োজনীয় সংস্কারের আয়োজন করা এবং সুষ্ঠু নির্বাচনের মাধ্যমে নির্বাচিত সরকারের কাছে ক্ষমতা হস্তান্তর করা।
Bangladesh was an emerging economy, a stable country with religious harmony amongst all the ethnic and religious groups. It was seen as a model case for development across the world. What has now become of Bangladesh is basically that it is going back to how the Western US diplomat Henry Kissinger once said that Bangladesh could be a basket case, a bottomless basket case. It seems like those who are in charge are trying to turn Bangladesh into what it used to be in the 80s and the 90s, an aid-dependent, unstable country with instability across the country, deep-rooted, very difficult socioeconomic circumstance, widespread poverty. So this is how it was in the 80s and the 90s. So for the last 15 months, Mr. Yunus's interim government has turned the country into how it used to be. He has made no attempt to reconciliate between different political factions. He has literally freed the terrorists who were convicted of terrorism-related charges, rapists who were convicted by criminal courts. I'm not talking about the political dissidents or politically charged individuals. We can discuss about them later, about the charges they were convicted from. But the country is in the hands of a small group of criminal masterminds. He himself claimed that it was part of his meticulous design that has toppled the government. He was able to unite the anti-Bangladesh forces, the political dissidents, as well as liberal elements in some hodgepodge political understanding in order to overthrow the government of Sheikh Hasina. What started was a simple protest movement, eventually became an uncontrolled riot in which people were targeted and shot by sniper rifles, which one of his advisors have publicly mentioned that police didn't have such lethal weapon to kill the protesters, and these things have happened. And after he had taken charge on the 8th of August of 2024, he wanted to uproot the entire secular liberal political ecosystem of Bangladesh, from the grassroots to the top. It is not just about our leader Sheikh Hasina. It is also about the liberal elements of our society, such as musicians, for example, or actresses, Sufi shrines who have been known to be very liberal in their practice of religion Islam, ethnic minorities from Chittagong hill tracts to the plain lands, and most importantly, the religious minorities, our Hindu community, the Buddhist community, as well as the Christian community. So they feel vulnerable in their own country now. The way he wanted to portray it as that it is just a purge against Awami League, which he never denied, because he wanted to purge the party itself. Although, I mean, if you were to hypothetically consider that somehow responsible for certain things, certain allegations, but it was the people in government that you could just try and see what they have done, but not the activists, not the average grassroots level activists. They had no say in how the government was running. So he had arrested hundreds of thousands of our activists, journalists, professionals, and put them in jail without trial for the last 16 months. So the whole of the country has now become a jail.
The interim government led by Professor Muhammad Yunus is a very weak government. Professor Yunus is a well-known global personality, respected by the people of Bangladesh, but the people he has chosen as members of the caretaker administration, they have no experience of running any administration. They were connected with some NGOs, and all they know is to run NGOs. Running the country is too much for them. Were so much corrupt, and they were dislodged by the people, and they don't have the moral courage to face the people. So internal law and order situation is very bad. Only hope of having a free and fair election can be achieved if the army supports the government fully from their heart. So a lot depends on the performance of the army. If they are serious, they have been given magisterial power already. So if they perform their duties, then election should not be a problem. It would be a free and fair election. But the police administration is very weak. The government is also weak. Election Commission is trying their best. It all depends on the armed forces and other law enforcing agencies to conduct the elections in a free and fair manner.
Recently, before election, there are political debate over the referendum issues and other issues, including the reform issues. So, do you think that will be hindering the electoral process, which is declared on February next year?
The discussion phase is over by now, and the persons who conducted the reform dialogues, they have all left for USA. So now only one issue is left about a referendum, whether the referendum should take place before election or on the election day. Some of the parties, smaller parties, they wanted it on before the election day, but BNP and all the major parties except Jamaat-e-Islami, they all want it on the election day. There are many valid reasons for that. Conducting a referendum is a matter of expense, lot of expensive. So it is always better to have the election, have the referendum on the election day. Most of the political parties are in favor of holding it on the election day. So this is only a small thing to be resolved by the interim government now. They have given a deadline of 7 days, which expires today. So I hope tomorrow we'll hear something from the government. We have requested the caretaker administration to sit with 2 to 3 major parties and decide the issue. Reform itself, as it appears now, they have left the job unfinished. The reform, the sponsors, organizers of reform, Dr. Ali Riaz, he has left before finishing his full task. At the fag end, he has just left. So they should have finished this also. Now leaving it to the political parties is not valid, is not acceptable, since they have conducted a discussion meeting for nearly a year. So they should have finished this part, and then finish this part means the day of referendum, then concluded these sessions. So now we have asked the Chief of Caretaker Government to resolve this last final issue. Hope they will come out with some solution tomorrow or day after. But whatever the reform proposals they have done, many people think that it's not logical. They would like to introduce 48 clauses, 48 separate subjects for reform. For a common people to vote on 48 items on one day is not possible, and all our people are not highly educated. They all do not understand this implication of these 48 proposals. So what the government should have done, the reform proposal should have been, there are 28 reform proposals on which all the parties are unanimous. They should have picked up these unanimous 28-point reform proposals and put that into the referendum instead of the 48 with note of dissent. So we hope something can be done even now at this late stage. They should accept only those proposals on which all the political parties are unanimous. They all agree, so that the question of dissent does not appear. But still, we keep our fingers crossed. Let's see what Professor Yunus and his team does at the fag end of this discussion.